Sergio Garcia has one of the most recognisable swings in golf. He's been a pro now for 25 years and for all of that time has been renowned as one of the best ball strikers on the planet. So let's have a look at his swing to see what makes him so good and is there anything we can learn to improve our own ball striking. I'd really appreciate it if you just gave a moment to quickly like and subscribe this video. I'm enjoying doing these tour player swing analysis. I hope you've seen some of the others, and if you haven't, then go check those out. But anything you can do to help me boost the engagement, then that'd be brilliant. So there's a couple of interesting things in Sergio's setups I think is worth talking about. He has quite a narrow stance, which may be to help him turn a little bit more, maybe it's to help him stay a little bit more centered, but he does stand up with his feet a lot closer together than a lot of other tour players. Another thing is his grip. So I really like how well triggered his right index finger is. I think that allows you to put a bit more pressure on top of the ball and also give you a little bit more club face awareness. So that's quite a nice thing to copy if you don't already do that. The grip is a huge part of any person's swing, so just making sure we get that right is really important, and triggering that finger I think is just a little sprinkle of greatness. We've seen it in all the best players in the world, so definitely something we could look at. From down the line, there's no real surprises in any of it. He stands in great posture, maybe has a little bit more knee flex than some players do, but he's not out of balance. He stood very compact, maybe slightly close to the ball, but all of this is what makes him so good. The first thing I really like about Sergio's swing is his trigger. He's got this little forward press where his thumb's off the club, he pushes his hands forward and then takes the club away. I quite like to see the club head work away before the hands do. So you can just see in this frame here how that club head, it moves about an inch before the hands start to move back, and now the hands start to move. So there's just a couple of frames there where the club head is moving but his hands aren't, and I think that is something that amateur golfers do poorly. They've got this idea about keeping the club head low and slow, and that just results in an inside takeaway. So if you can get that club head moving early, before the hands do, just like we see in Nelly Corda's swing, then that's going to help us get the club head moving up and outside the hands early, out in front of us in the backswing, and get us in a nice neutral position at the top. There's quite a few things going on in his backswing which are interesting, but get him in a good position to be this elite ball striker. So once the club starts moving away, Sergio has this interesting move in his right knee, where his right knee actually moves across in the backswing. What that allows him to do is stay really centered. And actually he has this extended spine position, which people have actually been taught out of, where the center of his upper back is further towards the target than the center of his hips. Now, this is a really extended position, but it keeps him so on top of the ball. This is basically going to guarantee a really steep attack angle, which is exactly what you want if you want to be a good ball striker with your wedges and your irons. This could almost be the start of a reverse pivot where your weight moves forward in the backswing but then back in the downswing, but that isn't what we see in Sergio's case. His weight obviously moves forward and forward and forward, but this position where his shoulders, his upper back and his head are either on top or even slightly ahead of the golf ball at the top of the swing are just going to help him really crunch the ball on the way down. From down the line, what we're going to see is the club head working up nice and early, the hands hinging the club back up. You know, his takeaway position is absolutely A1. He's got quite a lot of wrist set in that early position, but then he does an amazing job of staying really wide to the top. His hands obviously don't travel particularly far, and he has what looks like quite a short swing, but his lines are so good. Arm across his shoulders and the club just all in one straight line. I really like that. It's very, very neutral. The club face is square because he's got a neutral grip. He definitely hasn't done an awful lot with his knee in terms of moving it back, but we have seen it move across. His lead knee does come forward in the backswing because he is turning his hips, but it's the downswing where all the magic starts to happen. So
please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the engagement, helps YouTube push this video to more people. It'll help me grow. It costs nothing to you, so if you could do that, that'd be great.
So from the top of the swing, we're going to see a couple of things. I'm going to put a line on his hips just to illustrate his shift forwards towards the target, and I'm also going to draw a line on his spine to show how his spine goes from tilted towards the target to tilted away from the target. So as he rounds the backswing off, he's starting to shift. He's pushing off that right foot now, moving his hips and his knees towards the target. He's got this mega impressive lag position here where his right wrist is like super extended, and that gives us that high club head position compared to the hands. That this is absolutely brilliant. We've always known Sergio was like a late hitter, so seeing that the club head is so high relative to his wrist is this late in the downswing is not a surprise. Into his delivery position, you can see this beautiful right wrist angle, which is just giving us that late hit. It's helping him hitting it low and flat and like crunch down into the turf. You can also see how much further forward his hips have gone whilst keeping his upper centre in the same place. And that is what allows him to go from that almost reverse spine angle position into a really good delivery, really good impact, where he's always going to get the ball first. He's kept his head so stable, he's kept his upper centre so centred, and that is an amazing trait of great ball strikers. Just to note, I really also like this like long left arm shaft position, which again, you know, the club head hasn't yet passed his hands really, and that is again, it's a ball striker's move. There's so much in here, there's so many keys in here if we want to improve our own ball striking. From down the line, what we're going to see is Sergio is going to start to tip that shaft behind him, and he's actually going to do it without really even moving his hands very far. So that's really good. This is that shallowing move that people talk about, that shaft flattening and moving further behind him at the top. These lines are so impressive. We don't see this very much. The best ball strikers in the world delay the time where the club head passes out in front of the hands. So the later that the club head passes the hands, the better generally the ball striker and the further they hit it. So you can see that Sergio is dropping the club down. The shaft is shallowed out. It's not getting flatter. It's tipped backwards and then stayed on the same sort of angle, but it's just working down behind him. So the club head still hasn't passed his hands. It's still behind him. And now you can start to see the club tipping out in front of him. So Sergio is one of the latest releases in the world, which is why he sort of can hit it so low. He hits these knockdowns, he hits these stingers with his irons. That's just so impressive. Up until so late, the club head is still behind his hands. It's still not yet passed. Look at how low his hands are. Look at where his hands are in relation to the ball. And now it starts to come out. And he hits this wonderful Bosch impact where his hands are really low. His hands are almost down by his knees. And then he's up and through. So we've still got perfect plane as he swings through compared to his downswing, which is brilliant. We love that symmetry. And what we're going to see here as he swings through is his left wrist is mega extended. This is something that people are frightened of, but actually this is how you release the club without shutting the face, moving that left wrist from flat in the downswing to extended in the through swing. We've got that long right wrist, really short extended left wrist, and that is like we see that in Hogan, we saw that in Tiger when he was at his best. We see it in Sergio. It's a brilliant release. It helps keep the club face square, but allows you to really crunch on top of the ball, pressure the ball into the ground whilst not turning the face down and never shutting it. So Sergio's played his whole life with a little bit of a cut, and we can just see why, because he's so late into the ball. The club's travelling left. He's got that non-close the face release, and then he finishes in nicely up and in balance. So there's loads in here if you want to improve your ball striking. It all starts with a good trigger and that club head moving away first. It's keeping that upper centre, left shoulder and head on top of the ball, not moving it back at all in the backswing, and then shifting forwards, getting ahead of it, and then having that long right arm, long right wrist, extended left wrist release. It's just to help you hit the ball straight. So we're going to see more from Sergio. He's definitely not done yet, and I can't wait. I love watching him. I can't wait to see him do more. Thanks very much for watching the videos. If you can please like and comment to boost the engagement, and subscribe if you don't already, that'd be great. If you like what I put out in these videos, you like what I say about technique, I can actually help you with your game no matter where you are in the world. So if you just want to click the link in the bio, it'll take you to Skillist, which is an online coaching platform, and there you can look to see what I do, and actually
I can help you with your game, so analyse your swing, give you some drills and tips to help you improve, so we can work together to help you lower your handicap.